All right, so this strictly for my people in their 30s. You're in your 30s, right? I'm 32, by the way. You don't feel like you've accomplished or you are in a position to where you are financially free. Maybe you've seen yourself married with kids by the time you was 30. Or maybe you feel like you wasted your 20s. To be honest, that's not a good mindset to have. It is understandable, but I don't feel like that's a good mindset to have. I don't feel like your 20-year-old self or the 20-year-old version of who you were back then deserve that type of energy towards yourself, right? Because you're talking to a person that was enjoying life. You're talking to a person who was not really aware of the real world. So didn't really know what they was getting themselves into. And not to say I haven't felt this way before, because I have, but it just is me having a different understanding and me vocalizing it, you know what I'm saying? My point of view now that I'm in a different space in my life. Yeah, at one point I did feel like I was wasting my 20s. Once I got older, I feel like I wasted my 20s. But now my perspective has changed because I don't feel like that person that I was back then deserved that. And even though you say that, you still talking to a version of you, and you're putting yourself in a position to where you feel like you aren't worthy. And that can trickle down where you are now, and you start to regret some of the things that you've done. And I just don't feel like that's a good mindset to have, only because you will continue to put yourself in a downward spiral, and it will be hard to come up out of that. Could you have made better decisions? Yes. Right. Could you have made better decisions in your previous relationship? Yeah, bro, we all could have. I know I could have. I'm not perfect, and I know that a lot of mistakes that I made was immature and based on the mindset that I had at that age. A lot of things that we went through at a young age, in our 20s, we aren't supposed to be holding that over our heads, bro. Those are life lessons that we should hold on to and try not to repeat. I just want to tell you, bro, none of that shit really matter, bro. We living in a illusion, bro. The things that we was telling ourselves back then, we had no idea. Like, we can't hold ourselves accountable for the stuff we was telling ourselves we wanted to do back then, because we had no idea what the real world was like. We didn't know how hard life could be. Our imagination would kind of trick us, even though our imagination is something that we should always keep sight of, but it can trick us to think that we are someone that we aren't. And I'm not saying that you can't be the person you vision to be, but I think that the idea of who we have of ourselves in our head don't necessarily match in reality, right? So, for example, if you're a guy that goes to the gym or go to the park, you will meet somebody who is not like that, playing basketball. They are not good at all, but in their head, they think they're LeBron. You can't tell them that they aren't as good as they think they are. It's because he done told himself that he is a great basketball player. He truly feels that way. But deep down inside, we know that he's shit. He can't play a lick of basketball, never step foot on a college campus, and can compete with some high-skilled players. That's how we kind of go about our lives. We're not really real with ourselves, and we kind of think that we are something that we're not. And then again, you are supposed to think highly of yourself, but you also got to be real with yourself at the same time. We haven't been real with ourselves in our 20s when it comes to real life, because we was living in an illusion. And that's okay. It's okay to live that way, but you have to come down at some point and come to realization that you are who you are, and the talents that you have could be explored, but you have to direct it in the right way. That even goes into like relationship. Like, you got to forgive yourself for the things that you've done in previous relationships. A lot of us wasn't ready for a relationship. Like, still, you know what I'm saying? It's still some healing that need to be done. Getting into a relationship in your 20s, they don't tell you, but in my opinion, it's a bad thing to jump out in a relationship at such a young age when you really don't understand the world, you really don't understand women, really don't understand your life as a whole, right? Me, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I grew up around things that I probably shouldn't have seen as a kid. And I would say that those things kind of affected my childhood to where kind of like overlapped into my relationships. I had a single mother of 3. I'm the oldest. I didn't grow up with both parents in the house. I didn't see that. I didn't have that example growing up. I was never really in the house, to be honest, because there was a lot of trauma going on. So at a young age, I was already out the house. And just being outside, being really outside, I ain't just talking about being out the door, but being in the neighborhood with the homies, and just seeing like, bro, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but just like at a young age, seeing things that you shouldn't be seeing. I'll put it like that. Seeing how relationships was handled at a young age kind of like molded my perception of reality at a young age. Me seeing all these things, I kind of took those same behavior patterns with me. Unknowingly now, you feel me? Like, I know that I'm a good person, but my ways back then wasn't aligning up. Like, I ain't saying I was just out here taking advantage of women, because that's not the case. However, my communication skills, how I talk, or lack of communication rather, dealing with multiple women at one time, already being a college athlete, you kind of have access to more women. That just goes without saying. And just feeling like, not necessarily feeling like the man, but not having real understanding of women emotions and how they handle things, or how you even handle things as a teenage kid or young adult. All those things matter when it comes to being in a relationship at such a young age and not really knowing what you're doing. I take that back. A part of me had to be more accountable for my actions, because I can't say I didn't know better, but I feel like it was deep down in my subconscious of how I was raised, and the things that I seen kind of had an effect on how I would go about certain situations. So all the cheating and all the lying came from a deeper place, that now that I'm older, I'm starting to forgive myself for those things. And I feel like a lot of people in their 30s haven't gotten to the place where they can look themselves in the mirror and forgive themselves for the things that they've done, because that'll hold you back in life if you don't address those things and try to move forward. Because I didn't have that example growing up, you know what I'm saying, I can't hold myself responsible for everything. You feel me? You got to understand that some things aren't your fault. If you're willing to learn and accept some of the stuff that you went through and some of the things that you didn't go through, you have a better chance of healing from that. And I say all that to say, being in your 30s and you feel in such a way about yourself, it comes from a deeper place. It comes from something that you have to sit down and really address with yourself. If it requires that you to spend some time alone and handle that, then you need to handle that. Being a man at the age of 30, I've come to realize that there's nothing that I haven't been through that haven't taught me a lesson. Like, everything that I've been through has been valuable, and it's been for a reason. So don't feel like you're not where you should be. And maybe that is a reason for that. Everybody's life is different, and we can't look at somebody else's life on the internet or our neighbor or somebody we see up the street and think that we deserve what they have, or we should be in a better position, or we should be equal to what they have. Stop comparing yourself, dog. A lot of stuff that these people have going on for themselves, maybe they deserve it. Maybe they worked hard for it. You feel me? Maybe they put themselves in a position from the age 20 and they had proper adults in their life to where they could put themselves in a position to be great. Or maybe their parents worked their ass off and made sure they got into a position to where their kids could have better. And that's how it's supposed to be. But don't compare yourself to somebody else who you think may have more, because you don't know what that person going through. They may not feel the same way in their life. And understand that it'll get better, bro. It just requires work. And a lot of us don't want to work nowadays for whatever reason. I ain't just talking about physical labor, but don't want to take the time to do the work on the inside because we might be distracted from something or something that's holding you back for sure. Regardless of what it is, we got to take accountability and really, you know what I'm saying, get to work. Right now, I feel like personally, it's the best time to be alive. This is the best time to be alive, so this is the best time to learn. This is the best time to figure out what you want to do right now. There's nothing wrong with being in your emotions or feeling down certain days and having anxiety or depression. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, can't let our feelings get the best of us, or our emotions. If you feeling down, or if you're feeling like emotionally drained, go talk to somebody. That's okay, bro. Go talk to somebody and figure out a way to better relieve yourself from those feelings so you can get to work. If the get to work gets better in yourself, then get to work. If getting to work is go and get that 9 to 5 so you can start your business or you can fund your business, then do that. You know what I'm saying? But don't ever feel like you aren't in a position to change your life, because you are. It's going to be okay, dog. Like, you just got to do what it is you have to do. Continue to be a good person. Make sure your intentions are pure. Do right by people. Keep God in your life, dog. And everything's going to work out, but you have to do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. But like I said, man, life is tricky, bro. It ain't no manual to how we supposed to be doing this thing. We're going to have more challenges. I mean, when we 40. And that's a good way to look at it. It's like, in 10 years, when you become 40, now that you know what you know about the things that you've done in your 20s, the next 10 years could be the best years of your life if you put the work in. And when you become 40, you know what I'm saying, you'll look back and be like, because 40 is still young. I don't know why people think 30 is old. 40 is still young. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking care of your body and you drinking water and you exercising and you're taking care of yourself, you're not smoking, you're not drinking every weekend, that's going to age you faster than age will, because of these habits, bro. So don't think because you're 30 and you feel old, that's the craziest thing. 30 is still young. In 10 more years, 40 still going to be young. You still going to feel young, bro. So understand that in 10 more years, when you become 40 years old, you can put yourself in a position to where you can look back and be like, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Or I understand that my 20s were a life lesson, and that these next 10 years is going to be the years that I really get it in. But yeah, just put the work in, bro. I'm proud of you, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.